week.
We don't have enough time.
Yeah,
let's talk about this
the
at
Supreme
wide.
Court likes Larry Wilder.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Well, hey, somebody does,
Somebody
right?
does.
You know, you got to give it to them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this at wide. Matt, what's your thought on the city council person at large seats? There's 3, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think are going to win those seats?
Julius is a shoe-in. Julius is in no matter what. No matter if 30,000 people vote, Julius is in. Samuels, I don't know. I'm not totally sure of. I think Samuels will get in, and to me, the close race seems to come between Dustin White and Matt Owen. Matt Owen boosted his name recognition when he ran for mayor and was suddenly not running for mayor, and that catapulted his name recognition. And now if they've got their votes right, if they have their people vote, only vote one. If you're a candidate and you say I'm running for at large, only vote one. You can vote for 3, but just vote for me.
Who's the scrapper of Matt Owen and Dustin White? Like if they got in a fist fight or a arm wrestling or a leg wrestling, who do you think would win that?
Well, Dustin's an angry black man, so Dustin pummel the guy. I love Matt. Matt's great, but
Yeah. I've known Dustin since I was 10 years old, played Little League football for his dad, and Dustin was always tough on the gridiron, and I'm thinking he's probably that same way in the political field. What do you think, John?
I disagree. The first 2, I think, I agree with, and I think those 2, are definite. But I think the third one is going to be between Dustin and Wynn Walker, and not the boy that...
Win is a win with Winnie.
Well,
he has a shot at winning.
And the reason I say that is the fact that Dustin's worked really hard, and I would have to give the edge to Dustin. And if it is true about the number of absentees that were taken in for straight Democrat polls, then that's got to help the rest of the ticket besides the mayor's race.
oh yeah, but you've got every single Moore supporter is going to vote for Owen as basically a thank you vote for getting out of the mayor's race and saving more about.
Yeah, I agree. Larry, what do you think? In
the real
27 seconds or less.
The real issue becomes the effective annexation.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this: annexation was a good thing in the sense of it was good for Jeffersonville in terms of Jeffersonville moving forward. And what we always forget is Jeffersonville was loaned to all of us, and we give it back. And we give it back when we die. We give it back when we quit serving, like Duard and John. So really, truly, we got to look. When you look at it, when annexation occurred, and John was a big advocate. That was a good thing for Jeffersonville. Politically, it was a bad thing for Democrats. And I think the reason it was a bad thing for Democrats and incumbents was because the people that were annexed are going to not be happy, and there's just no question about it. And historically, and I am a historian, historically, when they annexed Gulfview, when they annexed the Meadows, when they annexed that group of people, then the incumbents suffered the wrath. When they annexed
Cosdale-Orem is
when they annexed
re-election,
in North Haven, when they annexed that area, it changed the entire composition.
it did.
But John and I disagree on that because we disagree
Well,
on
Orem
when
got
he
beat
was.
because Buddy Parker ran against him.
Well, Buddy was but there
That
was
was a given.
a lot. I mean, Ron Grooms, our state senator, lost his bid to be back on the city council, and it was all annexation. So that becomes the issue. You go to Clarksville. In Clarksville, when they annexed, you got.
Oh wait, we're not talking about
But
Clarksville
what I'm saying,
today.
the annexation.
No,
We're talking about
Clarksville. We live in
annexation.
the world of Jeffersonville today only.
Sellersburg changed when they annexed. They got all Republicans. So that part of it is what, if you really look at it in an honest way. Now, did those people come out and vote against the incumbents in the Democrat primary? No. So that becomes the kind of the whole what's going to happen. And then I always go back to the Scott Lewis runs for judge 4 years ago. And when you pull out all of the straight Democrat votes, Scott Lewis wins the judge's race by 200 votes. When you put the straight Democrats back in, Scott Lewis loses by 1,000.
The discipline of that voter.
But you got to remember,
But that was the old city.
A lot of the newly annexed people, their out-of-pocket expenses actually went down after annexation. Now, because McCall and I ran the numbers on this, there were about 1,000 households. When you dropped off the surcharge, if they're on city sewers, the fact that they didn't have to pay for garbage pickup, the fact that there was a difference in the replacement tax credit on the townships they were in, there were about 1,000 households whose out-of-pocket expenses went down after annexation. And I've talked to several of those people since then, and that did turn out to be the case.
Lincoln, traditionally when you annex suburbs and you bring in new voters, then the
Can I answer that?
incumbents
That's fine.
normally.
Yes, answer it. Here, wait, hold on. Put him on speakerphone.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up?
We have to fielding a call from Tom Galligan, our incumbent
Okay.
mayor.
Look, can I call you back?
Tell him it's
all
my
right,
turn to
bye.
talk, okay? That
He wanted to know if I was going to bring dinner because all are you bringing dinner down to the campaign headquarters? Because
Lincoln, traditionally, when you annex suburbs, you get a little higher socioeconomic status that tends to vote Republican, tends to be more conservative. The people were supposed to initially vote 70% in the spring because they were so angry over annexation of the canal.
Would you take your sunglasses off? I
can't
can't look
stop.
at you in the eye. It makes me nervous.
Anyway, Larry, you can tell Larry's talked in front of a few juries and done very well. He's very articulate.
I know, because he
Now,
looks
first
you in
of
the
all,
eye.
I want to thank
He looks you in
everybody
the eye.
I want to
few
thank
angry news reporters.
I want to thank everybody for they're pretty good with that.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
good at
yeah.
those interviews.
Okay, so with all that said, I have something that I want to ask.
I know I got to get about the breakdown on the at-large race, so I can get the answer to that.
Oh, I thought you
But-
did.
No, they.
Oh, you lost me.
John
I'm
started
sorry.
talking over me again. But anyway,
I have a very
I
important
want to thank
question.
everybody for being here today, and Lincoln, you're doing an excellent job with this. It's superb.
Okay, so I'm ready for my next
Now,
question.
what happens is in the annexation, when Walker finished third and beat the incumbent by 5 votes. Matt Owen had a lot of press, a lot of people like him. He's called the kid with game by Goliath. Abe Navarro has been in office before and has run 2 or 3 times, is well known. What they're actually fighting for is the Ron Groom seat. So the first 2 slots are taken with Julius and Samuels, and the other has to be who's going to get that. Now, obviously, Ron Groom's been around for a long time, has a lot of backing, done a very good job, a lot of people like him. So you have a kid that's brand new, you've got an out-of-town attorney who had been appointed to a judgeship that's been active, and you have Win Walker, whose family was in the Democratic Party for a long time, did a lot of work. Win grew more conservative and said, the Democratic Party left me. And he's a very religious person.
Yeah, what else did he say? He said something a couple weeks ago, too, didn't he?
No, but that's already been taken down
Oh,
from
okay.
Goliath this
What did
morning.
he say?
Goliath has the American Civil Liberties Union on his butt already. I already got
Okay,
the
so we're good.
But
So
that's
here's my
last point,
question.
my last point.
Okay.
It's the turnout again. That John and Larry have both said, and Matt. If it's an elderly vote, the person that is older, not the 21-year-old, but the 60-year-old, they will tend to give a bigger vote to Win Walker because of the demographics of the vote. But that is going to be an interesting one.
Well,
We don't
and-
know.
But older
Then that's
people
what I
don't
want to
want
know.
cha- A lot of
Now,
older
again-
people don't want change.
My turn, John. Now,
It's been your turn, dude.
Yeah. But anyway, Dustin
They were
Wright-
roommates at IU in
That's-
'66.
And John got great write-ups when he won the Clark County
Who's the
track
better
meet.
kisser?
He won the pole vault. You know, wait a minute. I'm still mad at you over Linda. Anyway.
All right, so here's my deal. We've been talking about age all day, right? I mean, age has been a deal. We have 3 candidates in this election that are 21, 21, I think, and 22. How long has it been since we've had 3 young candidates like that run?
1972.
So that's amazing. I mean, that's 40 years ago. right?
And if Matt Owen wins, he breaks my record for the youngest one ever elected in
In
the
the
city
state-
this size,
in
in
the
the
state
state
of
of Indiana.
That's awesome.
John.
Clerk
Of course,
treasurer's,
now the voting age was 21 back then.
clerk treasurer's race doesn't count. That's
Why
a,
not?
That's a fill. That's,
Why doesn't
I'll
it
call it
count?
like it is because they had no interest in politics. If I'm right, he's a buddy of someone who needed to fill a slot.
I heard he is a fantastic pizza
Oh, I have no-
maker of Papa Murphy's Pizza.
I have no idea that he's not an awesome pizza maker of Papa Murphy's, and he might be wise beyond his years, but he's young.
But
And
what about
when you-
Zach Payne?
Zach Payne, on the other hand, Zach Payne is the real deal, without question. And Zach Payne would have won his. Depending on how it goes, if Zach Payne doesn't win, Zach Payne doesn't win because of Eric Hedrick. Zach Payne campaigned his ass off.
Ooh, that's probably
Zach Payne is.
Zach Payne.
I heard that. I heard that the
FCC
most excited.
We can say ass.
The
all
Republicans
day.
are most excited. The party over there is most excited about Zach Payne than any other candidate because they think he's got.
Yeah, the
real
Republicans, but what are the Republicans in Jeffersonville? It's all 600 of them.
Okay.
Then you've got.
Okay, so let me ask you
Well,
this.
annexation changed that.
Yeah,
from
annexation
600 to a
just
big
changed
number.
that. And so if we see this influx, and not just 20s and people in their 30s, we see this influx of youth in the city, is that going to spill over, Mr. Wilder, is that going to spill over
gonna
to
vote.
county elections?
They're not going to vote.
Well, bottom line is this: if
I love that you've said bottom line 3 times
I
since
know.
we've started talking.
How about what it's
He's
going to be at
thinking
the end
about
of
his
the day?
cash flow,
What's your,
cash
at the end of the day,
At the end of the day.
At the end of the
at the
day.
end of the
Yes.
day, does it spill over into the? If the people in the county aren't outraged by the leadership that they've had so far to put them in debt and nearly bankrupt, and they don't vote against everyone that's in office, then it goes to show pretty much what we all think is that most people really don't pay much attention to politics unless it's a congressional race, unless it's the government.
Especially as somebody 30 and under.
So, and
why the
the big,
turnouts
you know,
are so
the interesting
low.
thing is to consider, and I will say this now because it's 20 minutes till 6. On September 1st, Tom Galligan was 18 points ahead of Mike Moore in a poll that had been conducted by the same polling company that had done the poll for the Galligan campaign during the primary. And they were absolutely right on the numbers in the primary. And if Galligan loses, in light of the fact that that poll was done by the same group of people who have been accurate, I might also add several polls that have been done that I'm aware of that they've done. If Galligan loses, what it proves to me is another thing that a lot of us have discussed. Polling is out the door now because of these.
Yeah.
Because the ability to contact people who have something in their hand that's their telephone and their computer has gone away because we don't have the ability to know those phone numbers anymore. That then to me equates to the people that are holding these are going to vote now because that's a younger group of people. You're getting younger people to the polls. Among the people who had telephones that were answered in a poll on September 1st, Tom Galligan was 18 points ahead, plus or minus 6. Now, there's 10,000 people. Yeah, there's 10,000 people voting today. Now, for him to lose, what that tells me is a group of people that vote and voted today are a group of people that you can't contact on the phone, which changes politics. Because how many of us think politics is a phone call? How many of us think politics is sending mail to the right place? And you've got to identify people to do those things. If I can't get a list off the computer from whatever state party it is, find a phone number and call you and say, hey, Lincoln, Larry Wilder, I'm running, then how do I communicate?
You can't.
It becomes the Obama way of running a campaign.
Yeah.
So the question is have we transitioned into that? And I'm old.
You are old.
I am
You're
old.
a lot older than I am.
I've been
I'm
doing
pretty
this,
sure.
and John and I coached you in football. I don't know.
No, you did not.
You were on the
That's
team. But
No,
that's-
you didn't
play
coach.
with those guys?
Not me. No, I didn't play with any guys. All right, I've got a question for each one of you, and then we're gonna end on a note,
Yes.
a positive note, because I am local and I'm all positive, right?